And we're back. Okay. Gunship is down. I'm going to avoid Cubbage because he annoys the crap out of me. Oh, unless I have to go back in to trigger this next bit. I think there's something about the, the stiff upper lip Brit thing
I gather you've disposed of that gunship.
that's really annoying to me, being a Brit.
Reputation, sir, is well deserved. I shall have someone open the gate for you immediately so that you can drive
Plus
on.
he's a coward,
I
right?
understand that Dr. Vance is in great need. Use extreme caution when approaching the bridge. Radio silence from that outpost leads me to believe it has come under Combine control. Still,
That's lovely.
you're clearly
I'm trying to remember if there's any other British characters in this who aren't a coward. That's fine. Kind of annoying, but still. Okay. So we're going to get ungated and be allowed to move on our way, I think. I hope.
drive safely.
Yep, there we go. Alright. Come on then. Alright, good. So I mean, that's pretty basic, isn't it? One thing I was remarking on was the sort of the mapping quality of Half-Life 2, the original, and obviously it's 2004, it's a long time ago, and it's amazing the overall feel of a relatively high quality game when you actually look at the chunky nature of some of the BSP mapping. It's kind of shocking in some ways. I'm like, oh my god, the size of that wall. But still, just goes to show you that if your overall experience is good, then visuals aren't everything. And actually, this is something I keep coming back to recently, is that visuals really aren't that important. Pac-Man, Space Invaders, they're fun to play. You'll play them over again. I don't care about visuals that much. And actually, games that have more of a cartoony style last the test of time, like this. Graphically, it's fairly cartoony. It doesn't really jar. If you're looking at World of Warcraft and games like that, it's not really too jarring even now. The art style of that game. Okay. Good lord. Right. So this is fun. We've got to figure out what to do. So I think the nice thing about this area, and it's I sort of emulated it in the last version of Deep Down. Oh, there's a jump there. I noticed that. Is there's you're not really sure what the overall goal is until you kind of get up there and it suddenly becomes obvious. Wow, that's crap. It becomes obvious what you're supposed to do, but only once you get the kind of bird's eye view of the situation. At this point, you're racing around. You're like, I don't know where to go. So through necessity, you kind of evacuate, and hopefully you've realised at this point that if you turn the thumper on, you'll be safe. Sort of safe anyway. Come on, thumper. Yeah, there isn't really anywhere else to go. They've sort of dead-ended you, and because it's such a big area, I don't think it really feels like you've hit a dead end though. So it's quite a nice way to mask a dead end in a certain way, is to have a larger area. So there's a learning point for me that will be useful. And I am actually learning quite a lot as I go through this, and I'm actually playing this for the first time. Whoa, hello pickle. Right, I can't shoot straight. This is annoying. Right, where is the other one? It's actually been shot his grenade as well. That's fun. There's an ever so slight lag because I'm recording, and as a result, I'm playing slightly less well than I would do normally. Honestly, it's not my fault. And actually, the quality of the AI is one thing that's really striking me playing through this again. They really do work together and flank and break cover and that kind of thing. Those squad mechanics really shine in a lot of these combat areas. Great opportunity to use our crossbow, but I don't appear to have it, or do I? Hang on. It's normally there, isn't it? Hang on. Oh, that's disappointing. Oh no, it's later on, isn't it? I was playing the later levels a little while ago. So this is one thing that annoys me in game design. This is why I won't allow the pistol into my maps, because if you try to shoot a person with a pistol at that kind of range in real life, you wouldn't get anywhere. essentially the pistol is a sniper rifle in Half-Life 2, and that's very frustrating to me because the AR2 is a much better weapon for combat. The moment you give the player the pistol, suddenly you're giving them almost like a sort of a get out of jail free card where they can just crouch behind something and sort of do pixel perfect shooting to get themselves out of a situation. I prefer not to do that, so I am purposefully leaving the pistol out of my levels, rightly or wrongly. Some people obviously like it, some people don't, but it's to me it's not a healthy option for them, for the player. Incidentally, from this distance, and I'm not sure what the what this guy was using, I just picked up something. It looks like it was a yeah, he's using an SMG. Now from this distance, an SMG is pretty much useless. He is target practice up there, that's all he is to you. If you go from an AR2 up here, they're actually pretty deadly at this kind of range, at this kind of height. They can rain down quite a lot of damage and be quite you can really pin the player down. I've done it on several maps and it works quite well. In actual fact, I've done it with AR2s and I'm like, wow, that's just too much. You know, it's just too much and too difficult and not fun for the player. Okay, so here we are on the crane section, and the crane section is kind of fun and it's not used enough in games. I've kind of used it in one of mine. I wish other people would use it more. And then you realise you've parked in the worst possible place. It's not bad, but look at the shadow of the magnet. The ambient light in this map is designed very specifically so that the shadow is essentially your target. That's what you're aiming to get. Missed. If that had been the car from episode 2, it would have, I reckon, it would have picked that up. But for some reason, here I think it's almost got like a sort of a failure range around the edge of it, because otherwise it looks too weird when it picks it up and it's only sort of touching the edge of it. Although this is pretty, it's pretty basic. Okay, so pick this up, and there we go here now, and we are in a situation now where we get something to play with. We've got our containers here to play with, and we've got our combine here to squash. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I think everybody really enjoyed squashing the combine with these. You know, it's not hard to have fun with this. And also, you knock down the bridge with it as well, which is the other kind of fun bit. Although I'm making a bit of a hash of it, but you are invulnerable while you're in the crane, which is interesting because, you know, essentially you can just have fun. There you go. Done. Oh, I got an achievement for that. That's nice. Yeah, I'll leave that. Yeah, you're invulnerable while you're in the crane, so you know you can carry on playing for as long as possible, and you're not ever going to be really damaged by those guys shooting at you, which makes it really just a silly game to play. And there's nothing wrong with silly games to play. In fact, that's a great way to design your level. Okay. Those shotgun guys are killers, aren't they? Right. This is the point when I start actually playing the game instead of talking to you guys. Or girls, should I say. Okay. So maybe I should put God on and just have fun with that instead. No, I think it's important to see the challenge. Anyway, so there is a, you know, there's some interesting stuff here just because the player's being pushed to go and investigate on foot rather than by car and that kind of thing. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Titanfall 2 that I played recently, which I've been raving about on my Twitter feed because I'm thoroughly in love with that game. But it's that kind of designing a map on two different levels, and this is a perfect example here where we have a map and certain areas are designed for the player space, and other areas are designed for the vehicle space. So obviously the docks here and the doors, oh, don't do that, are designed to you know, for the car. But then, and I think there's some other areas where we see a lot more of that. Sort of two different design structures depending on the space. gun's rubbish. Oh, there we go. It's not very satisfying. If only there were a mod that replaced the gun on this to make it more interesting. Fail. That should have been a fantastic action moment, but I failed miserably. I think that the entire design of that space just then is for you not to stick around and kill them, is to just drive on through, and the whole thing's set up for you to really hit that thrust button and just head on out of there. And that's a great thing, because, and same in this space as well. Oh look, and that is timed perfectly and designed for you to jump and narrowly miss that that gunshot. Oh, okay. So it's putting us into a fight now. Now we could fight, get lost, or we could, you know, punt our way through this thing. Can we? I don't think we can actually. I think it'll be blocked because you have to take down the gunship to clear the road, and as it crashes it clears. No, I should be able to get the car past that. I'm wondering whether we can avoid even having the fight, because that's a really good example of you know, designing for player choice, right? I don't want to fight you, go away. I'm just going to carry on going. Actually there's a whole section there, but anyway. And I think that's important for the player to be able to choose not to really engage with that. Now the question is he going to turn up in the next map? I've got a huge rainstorm going on at this end. I don't know if it's coming through on the mic, but there's a huge rainstorm happening outside, thundering away. Okay, I'll play a bit more of this one and then I'll wrap it up. Did our gunship follow us through? No. Okay, so that's interesting. And one of the lessons that I would give is, actually I'm going to stop recording because this is so loud on the roof that I think it might come through, so we'll carry on in a minute.